In connection with evolutionary theory and its importance to modern naturalistic understandings of human nature, I'm reminded of an article I read once studying baboons and puzzling over the fact that while baboons are quite intelligent and are a formidable predator and can develop some fairly sophisticated social interactions, including hunting activities, they are vastly outstripped by chimpanzees, for example, which are also a highly intelligent ape and capable of very sophisticated hunting activities, including complicated strategies and divisions of labor. One of the researchers had noticed that the chimpanzees, for example, will, if deciding to hunt a particular animal, have the following kind of strategy, which is similar to a strategy that many humans will use, and that is that they will have a teamwork that involves running the animal, that's their prey animal, into exhaustion. And so what they will do is stage chimpanzees in pairs at various stages along a fairly extended route, and then they'll assign a couple of chimpanzees to go and scare the herd animal, the animal that they want to capture. Usually it's a herd animal, cut it out of the herd, and then cause it to run away. And then the chimpanzees, say it's two of them who are assigned to do this initial, they will start chasing after it. But of course, at a certain point, they become exhausted and can no longer run, and the animal then can still run. But there's already stationed a couple of other chimpanzees who will take over the chase at that particular point. They will continue to chase the animal, which is starting to get tired, or now at a certain point, those chimpanzees will become exhausted, but then a third pair of chimpanzees will take over the chase. And then they will run the animal into the ground until it's finally exhausted, and then there will be another group of chimpanzees waiting to finish the animal off. Now, this researcher had noticed that by contrast, baboons seemed to be trying to do the same sort of thing. They had a strategy that involved the division of labor. And they would assign, say, a pair of baboons to go and initially startle and chase an animal, and the plan would start off perfectly, just fine. But then, after a certain amount of time, 30 seconds or so, the baboons would just lose it, and they would just all start fighting amongst each other. And so, for example, the two baboons that were doing the initial chase on the animal would just be all running along, and it would seem like, from the researcher's perspective, that they would just suddenly forget what they were doing and why they were doing it, and they'd be looking around, and then the one baboon, anthropomorphizing a little bit here, would look over at the other baboon and remember that guy stole some nuts from him that morning, and so he's really ticked off at that guy, and he'll reach over and smack it, and of course the other baboon is suddenly startled, realize he's been smacked, and so they then just start fighting with each other, and the herd animal that was supposed to be their lunch scampers off to safety. So the baboons don't seem to be able to generate and sustain large-scale strategies for hunting on the same scale that chimpanzees can do. So then they will go ahead and they will do the study of the anatomy of baboon brains and monkey brains, and then they will find out that in the appropriate parts in the cortex, the baboons have a certain amount of development there. The chimpanzees have more development there. And the argument then is that the reason why the chimpanzees can do more complicated thought and strategy is tied directly to their brain development. And so by analogy, we consider our own selves, we can do more sophisticated strategy and thinking than chimpanzees can do. And the evolutionary argument is that we have evolved and developed a larger set of capacities in the cortex. And so our enhanced psychological capacities relative to the chimpanzee is directly a function of those underlying physical properties, just as with the chimpanzees, their enlarged psychological capacities are a function of their enlarged brain capacity relative to the baboon, and so on all the way down to lesser psychologically developed beings.